Hey guys, what's going on? So DJI has changed their software in the Mavic, and now the original color settings that came on the Mavic are gone. And things like art have disappeared. It's now been replaced with film A, film B, film C, film D, etc., etc., etc. So what I want to do is put together a new video that goes through all the color settings that DJI has put on this camera and find the best ones to shoot in so you can get the best looking image out of your Mavic. All right, so let me give you my recommendations just right off the bat. So my recommendations for this camera is gonna be the D-Cine and a sharpness at +1. Now let me go over why I have these recommendations and show you each of the color settings that are in this camera so you can determine what will work best for you. I've also included all these files in the description below. You can download them and look at them yourself on your own computer with your own screen. Okay, so why do I choose D-Cine? Originally, I liked the art mode when that was on the camera. The art mode basically gave you enough range to be able to color grade your image, but didn't make it too flat where you're really having to push the colors around. So here's a shot from Thailand, and you can see on the histogram that between 0 and 100, your image is smushed more in the middle, but it's not completely compressed. Whereas where you look at the log image and you look at the histogram, you can see they've really compressed the image down and made it very flat. The issue with this is that when you're working with a compressed file and you start color grading it, you start degrading it. And so when you really push this image around because it's so flat, you start to lose your quality and it starts to look bad. And I can't get the colors I want out of the log image. So that's why I don't use log on this camera. So looking at the other selections that are on this camera now, we have none and we have true color, which both of those are kind of like a standard setting, and then the true color seems to be more saturated. Those are just like your standard everyday, like this is out of the camera. I don't like it. I don't like the saturation. I like to do some color grading in post. Okay, and then from there we have film A through I. Film A through I is effectively DJI's way of giving you a look that is already predetermined. It's like giving you a set of a bunch of LUTs. So you really could take these and you can shoot in any of these and get an image that has a color grade already done. I don't like these because they're basically determining what it is that you want the image to look like in post while you're shooting, and you can't really tweak the colors that much once they're already set. And you can see on the histogram that between all these film modes, they really crush the blacks and then they bring down the highlights a tad. They're really trying to give you a look in camera. I think if you are trying to just shoot in camera and not do any color grading post, these are where you're gonna wanna look. And out of these, I like the look of A, I like the look of C, I like the look of E, and I like the look of I. Personally, I wouldn't use these modes just because I'm married to it, and then if I wanted to color grade it all, now the drone shots are gonna look different than what I'm shooting on my other cameras. For me, the D-Cine is the best mode because that still gives me a decent amount of range to work with. It's not as good as art. You have to be a little bit more conscious when you're shooting and making sure that your highlights don't overexpose or you're not pushing it too far in the darks. And the last thing I want to go over is the sharpness. With this camera, there seems to be a sweet spot with the sharpness. If you're shooting just at standard, which is 0, and you look in the trees at 200%, you'll start seeing that it's getting really mushy. When you bump that up to +1 sharpness, all of a sudden it clears up. And it seems to be that right when you go over the +1 on sharpness, you get that nice crisp image. So to me, it looks like DJI is trying to create a bunch of different looks that are basically LUTs. It's interesting, and I get why they're doing it, because a lot of people that fly the Mavic, they want to be able to just shoot and pull the footage straight out of the camera, edit it and go, no color correcting. Filmmakers, on the other hand, and people that want a little bit more control, want to grade their footage, and the art mode was the perfect mode to grade the footage. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Those are my recommendations for the best in-camera settings to use when you're gonna color grade it yourself. If you just want to shoot pretty footage and then pull it into your editor and not do any sort of color grading, I'm gonna recommend maybe one of the other settings and play with the saturation and the contrast. I'm not gonna do that in this video, so if you guys wanna see the best in-camera settings without color grading, please leave a comment below and I'll put together a video for that. Make sure you subscribe, We've got a lot of cool content. I've been flying my Mavic all over Thailand the last 3 weeks. Got some amazing footage. So guys, check out the playlist on Thailand. And guys, we'll see you on the next one. And as always, if you have any questions, concerns, or want to see an in-depth video on something else regarding the Mavic, please leave a comment below and I will do that for you. Guys, see you on the next one.